It's such a beautiful morning this morning that I thought let's do an update on one experiment that we started this year, and then do another experiment that my buddy Bowtie Life David kind of said to me. I won't say that he called me out on it, but he definitely mentioned a kind of fun experiment with sweet potatoes. So sit back, relax. This video won't be super long, but let's have a little fun, give you an update, and just have a beautiful Sunday together. All right, as I'm looking at the garden, y'all, I honestly cannot complain about this. The garden is looking phenomenal. Phenomenal. In fact, the sunflowers are about up to the top of the fence line. I mean, look at that. Almost at the top. Yeah, can't complain on that. Now, about a month ago, maybe a little more than a month ago, I did the pepper video where I wanted to do an experiment on 3 different soils. 2 of the soils being from Fox Farm. These are the 2 soils right here, and then a soil blend of my own for these 3 pepper plants that are all the same. They came out of the same seed packet, same everything. Exact same type of plant. And y'all, man, seriously, can you tell the 2 that are Fox Farm? Yeah. And the one that is my soil blend? Now, I think what I did wrong is I put way too much compost in the mix. And I left out peat moss / cocoa coir from the mix. And I think that's about all I forgot from this time, or not this time, but from last year when I made a really good mix for a habanero plant that did actually pretty doggone good, considering it was toward the end of the year. Now, let's just be real. As of right now, the 2 Fox Farm plants are definitely the winners. This is the regular Fox Farm bag, which I'm putting up right here. And this one is the Ocean Blend bag that I'm putting up right here. You can see both are putting on a lot of fruit, a lot of peppers. The regular Fox Farm in the last few days has actually taken over the height lead. So both of those blends are obviously incredibly good. There's no competition here. Fox Farm blends are definitely going to win over mine. So I want to modify mine. Now that basically the competition's over between mine and the Fox Farm blends, I think I'm going to amend this soil. So Chad, that goes against the entire experiment. Well, like I said, the experiment's over. Fox Farm has won. But what are you going to amend with? Good question. All right, so what I want to do is actually get a little bit of the seafloor, the sea blend, the ocean blend, Fox Farm, and I'm going to mix it with some worm castings. Now, worm castings. I am not going to go buy worm castings, y'all. My boy, Big Will Dog 82 in the soil, sent me a bag of his worm castings from his farm, from his house from his bins that he makes there at his place. Now, here's something pretty doggone funny. When he sent me the bag, I used half of them in the soil blend that I use for a lot of these pepper plants. And then the other half of the worm castings I just left sitting here outside. Well, within a couple days, I started seeing growth in the worm casting bag. I was like, what in the world? I'm just gonna leave it alone. About a week later, I had about 3-inch, 4-inch tomato plants in there. Now, yeah. So we're gonna transplant those tomato plants right now. I'm gonna use the rest of the worm castings and put in that pot with the pepper plant, along with a little bit of the soil from Fox Farms. And we'll see what that does to help that struggling pepper plant. Because no matter what, I want that pepper plant to grow and produce, because, you know, well, as many jalapenos as you can get. So let's have some fun. Let's get this thing potted real quick. All right, so I'm looking around to figure out where I want to put these tomato plants. I'm assuming they're determinate tomato plants. I asked Big Will if he knew what type of tomatoes these were. He doesn't have a clue, which is fine. I'm not tripping about it. So we'll have a little fun with. No, I actually want to pot them. So let's get a pot. You know, I could pot them in that pot where all these weeds are growing, but this area doesn't get a lot of sun, and I want to be able to move them around if I need to. So let me just get a pot. Stop procrastinating, Chad. This pot right there, you can use some good soil that I had some pepper plants in. All right, let's break this up. So, good soil right there. Now we're going to go ahead and gently lift these out. They look okay. Now the cool thing about tomato plants, y'all, is you can totally pull them apart as long as you get a good root system like so. You can move them apart. They don't have to all stay jumbled up together, is what I'm saying. Tomato plants are very hardy plants, very easy to shift. Now we're going to take just some of these worm castings. We're going to sprinkle them back in like so. So just like that right there. We're going to get a mixture of blood meal and bone meal and just sprinkle that in just to help. Top the rest of these off with soil. Well, about not just a giant blob of it. Okay, just like that. All right, y'all, those are done. That's not the best looking planting job, but they're tomatoes. They're super hardy. Not tripping about it. We're gonna water these in really, really good, and then just sit back and see what they do. Okay, so that's where those are going to sit for a while. And one good thing about growing in containers, as I'm looking and inspecting and looking for pests, is if you need to move your plants around, you can. If the sun becomes too much for a certain plant in a certain area, if it's in a container, you can move it. You can adjust them. You can shift them. That is one, if not the biggest, in my opinion, biggest benefit of growing in containers that there is. Growing in containers does require a little bit more work. You got to stay on top of nutrients because the only nutrients a container plant can get is what you give it. It can't send its roots out to go looking. But for the most part, in my opinion, container gardening is a fantastic way to garden. And if you have a limited space, say an apartment or a small backyard or just whatever, containers are a great way of still being able to garden. And that's a win-win. Okay, so now let me make up a little mixture to put on top of that pepper plant. All right, so I've got the materials that we are going to use to try to help make this pepper plant grow. We got some Fox Farm Ocean Blend, which is right here, that we're just gonna, well, first, let's put the worm castings in. Worm castings are a really, really good fertilizer. I'm keeping them off of the stalk, the stem of the pepper plant. And then we're just going to put a nice layer of this Fox Farm Ocean blend right on top. We're going to water this in really, really good and see what it does. I'm thinking that adding these 2 extra materials to this pot will help stimulate this struggling little plant to start to grow, because obviously it's still living. There's nutrients in here, just not I mean, seriously, look at that. These look so good, right? I mean, seriously, what was I thinking trying to come up with my own soil blend over commercial blends? I'm gonna keep trying though. Quitting isn't exactly in my nature, so I'm gonna keep pushing. Okay, that experiment in repotting the tomato plants are done. Now let's get into a different experiment pertaining to sweet potatoes. It is such a beautiful day here, y'all. I can't even put it into words. Okay, sweet potatoes. Now, that is my sweet potato bed for this year. You can see how good they're doing, right? All that beautiful sweet potato vine growth. They've definitely come out of their transplant shock and are just doing fantastic. In case y'all didn't see that video, which I'll put up right here, but these plants, this plant, and there's a plant right back in here, those were all from slips. These right here are from seed sweet potatoes. Now, Bowtie Life David sent me a message saying something to the effect of you should try growing the seed sweet potatoes in a container and see if the yields are different from, say, slip sweet potatoes. It's a great idea. Problem is, I've already planted some of the seed sweet potatoes right here in this bed. But I did do this to where I know where the seed sweet potatoes are, which are these right here. And then all of these are the slips. So I can kind of keep an idea when I'm harvesting which ones are which. And I will separate them as I do the harvest on these sweet potatoes in like August or September, whenever they're ready. But what I want to do, because I've done some research and listened to a lot of subscribers and viewers mention that their experience is that with seed sweet potatoes, there's not a lot of a yield. They'll still get sweet potato tubers growing, but not as much as, say, from slips. So I was like, you know what? Why don't we do a seed sweet potato experiment and just see how many sweet potatoes the seed sweet potatoes put up compared to the slip sweet potatoes. This is going to be a long experiment because sweet potatoes take 5 to 6 months. They take forever. But I think it'll be interesting to see. And then for next year, 2026, we'll all know, hey, should you just go ahead and grow your own? Sorry, I just saw more new peppers I didn't see yesterday. You'll be able to know, we'll all know whether or not we should just focus our energy on growing sweet potato slips, or can we go to big box stores and get the bags of the seed sweet potatoes? Which one would make more sense? Which one will yield the bigger yields? Which one will give us the bigger yields? So let's get these seed sweet potatoes planted, and y'all, that's gonna be the video for today. So bear with me, we're almost there. Okay, got the soils, got the pot. Now this is a nice big pot. Not sure if y'all can really tell the size of that thing, but I'm pretty sure it's a 10-gallon pot. I mean, you can see the difference in those two pots. This one is big. You can see it's got drain holes at the bottom. So this is perfect for, I'm probably only going to put 3 or 4 potatoes, sweet potato seed sweet potatoes in this pot. And of course I've got the soils right there. Now, before you ask, why am I using rose mix? I'm going to mix an organic garden soil with the rose mix just to add a little bit more acidity to the soil blend. That's why I'm using the rose mix. Okay, so these are the seed sweet potatoes that we're gonna use. And you know, if you've been to any box store, big box store, anytime around the springtime for your area, you know they all put out the same stuff. These, regular potatoes, asparagus, I mean everything, right? Now, when you are in the store, you wanna get ones that look good. These already have a little bit of growth going. That's a plus. These do also. I'm actually kind of surprised. I haven't seen seed sweet potatoes that actually have little growths already started. So that's kind of exciting. And actually looking at how the size of these, I think I'm going to put 6 of these size seed sweet potatoes in that pot. I don't think it's going to overpopulate the pot too much. And again, we want to see how many tubers these actually produce. So let me get the other bag. We're gonna get this filled up. We're gonna get them planted. And we're good to go. And these 3 have them growing also. That's pretty cool. I've actually never seen that. But I've got 6 good viable sweet potatoes. That's really cool. All right, y'all, the planting. We're gonna go about 6 inches deep. At least that's what I'm gonna do. And one really cool thing about this is it's got the inches marked out, so I went all the way to my finger, and that's 6 inches. Do some blood meal, bone meal. Now we're just gonna, this one's a fatty. Okay, all the tubers are good size, so I only want them to be about 2 to 3 inches deep from the top. Cover them up, but let me show you. Okay, so you can see I have all of these little growths facing up, facing toward the camera. I'm gonna cover these up, water them in really good, and then we're just gonna sit back and watch them grow, y'all. All right, and just like that, we are done. Sweet potato, seed sweet potatoes are planted. The pepper has been amended. The tomatoes are planted. So we'll see what goes on with all of these. I'll keep everyone up to date. And look, y'all, if you are a new gardener, have fun with gardening. Experiment. Read, learn, watch a bunch of these videos. Listen to what content creators have to say, and then formulate or tweak what you hear toward what you think is best for your garden. I know there's a ton of books. I know there's a ton of information out there, and I know there's, you know, centuries and centuries old advice and ways of growing things, but that doesn't mean you can't come up with a new way. You can't come up with a way that is specific for you. So have fun with gardening if you're a new gardener. And if you're a seasoned gardener, you already know this. I'm preaching to the choir, right? Yeah, look at all this growth. Man, these loofahs have just exploded. Look at that corn over there. These rattlesnake beans are finally starting to trellis. I mean, look at all that over there. I mean, yo, look at how beautiful the garden is. All the okra is fine. Look at all those okra. Doesn't that symmetry just look beautiful? Just saying. I mean, maybe a little OCD, but look how straight them lines are. That explains it, right? All right, everyone, so if y'all enjoyed this video for any reason at all, if you got anything out of this video at all, do me the 3 favors. Share, like, and subscribe to this channel if you've not done so already. We would love to have you, who's not subscribed, join all of us like-minded gardeners here on this little suburban backyard gardening channel here on YouTube. Y'all hear those birds just singing away? Tell me that doesn't make you smile. Everyone take care. May God bless you. Continue to shine bright, harvest hard, have fun in your gardens, experiment, do things outside the box, and just have, like I said, a lot of fun with your gardening. I'll talk to y'all again real soon. Bye.